Hey guys, Cable Guy Ken here. A buddy Ryan on Facebook page had asked me about how I sharpen my knives. I kept talking about a belt sander. This is it. This is just a cheap little Harbor Freight $39 belt sander. I've got an 80 grit belt on there right now. I vary the belts depending on what I'm sharpening. This is just an old camp knife I made a couple of years ago. Got a little sheath, you can snap it on your side. It's riveted, heavy leather, real thin, made out of a bandsaw blade. You can see the profile on it. It's about like a kitchen knife. Works pretty good for skinning. I've got it polished down dull. There's no bite to it or anything right now. It won't shave. Now, we'll stop on a nail, and if you sliced into something, hard, it'll cut you, but there's no bite to it anymore. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to show you how I sharpen it up using the belt sander and then 2 different grit compounds on my buffing wheels, and we'll see if it'll shave hair. Right now, like I said, you can see it's making the skin fly off, but it's not shaving any hair at all. So I'll give you a quick run of the mill how I do it. These belts, got a little wobble on it. These belts have a tensioner on the back of them, and as you loosen and tension that, I don't know if you can see that clearly, but it'll make that belt come in and out a little bit. And what that does is when you've got your knife up against it, it'll put a slightly convex edge on it, and the more you loosen that belt up, I don't know if you can see just how much that's moving it, but the more you loosen that belt up, the more it's going to bring that edge over this way. If you keep it tight, it's going to bring the blade more. So let me just get it some sharp real quick, then loosen this to get it started a little bit. I do apologize for the noise. That's about got it down the center. I got a little bit more up here at the top where it's, instead of the blade being this way, still a little bit cantered over, so we're going to touch that up just a little bit, and then we'll move on to the final polish on it. And that's that. Now I do use hones. I've got the ceramic rods for touching up and everything, but this is just what I do when something's extremely dull. Excuse me. And like I said, I've got 2 different muslin wheels on here. This is a fine stitched. See, it's tightly stitched together. This one's pretty much open, although it's worn down to one of the stitches now, but it's a lot looser wheel. This one will take the burr off with the compound I've got on there, and then this one is just to polish that edge that extra little bit. Depending on what knife I'm doing, I don't always polish. Sometimes I'll just take the burr off if it's going to be like one of my kitchen knives or something. I want a little bit more toothy grind on it for slicing into meat. If it's going to be general purpose, then I'll usually go both. If it's going to be a skinning knife or something, it all depends on what you're using the knife for. If I'm making a hatchet or something, sharpening my hatchets up or one of my axes, I go from the belt sander straight to the sheath, because I don't care about toothiness. It don't matter if it's, you know, hair popping. Alright, and that's it. These little wheels, little word of caution real quick. I know we're all adults and everything. Somebody may not know. It rotates this way. I have seen people do this number. This is a quick way to do a self-appendectomy. I mean, all you got to do is slip, and that knife comes straight over. Another thing is I've seen people come up too steep of an angle, probably show you better this way, with that blade. And at the same time, what that's going to do is it's going to catch that blade and it's going to snatch it. And when it comes around, this is where it's going to be. Now I know some people stand off to the side, but I can't see what I'm doing, so I stand directly in front of it, but I've got a firm grip on it, and I never come up so high that it's going to catch the blade. And when I'm trying to polish up any of the patina, I'll do the same thing. I'll come this way with it, but I've got a firm grip on it, and if it flies out of my hand, it's going that way. It's not going to where it's going to hurt anybody. That's sharp. I don't know if the camera zooms in enough. I'm running out of hair to do this with, but there's little hairs flying off. I'm not worried about this one being shaven sharp. I've got a little tooth to it, so that if I need to slice into some meat or something, you know, it's got a good grab. And as I've said before, that right there is a good test of an edge. If you can lay it down right where the bevel is, and it'll stop on a nail, it's plenty sharp enough. And you're not going to shave with it if it's like that all the time, but it's plenty sharp enough. And like I said, for what I use this for, that's awesome. And that's it in a nutshell. So you can get these belts. This is a 1x32 model here with an 80 grit belt on it right now, but you can go all the way up to a 600 grit belt. So if you're really looking for a super fine edge, you can go with a 600 grit here, and then I've got a 1200 grit buffing compound on this one, and I've got a 3000 grit buffing compound, more of a polishing compound, on this secondary wheel. So I mean, I can go up. If I really wanted to spend some more time on this, I could have this so sharp that it would literally pop the hair off your arm just by brushing it. I mean, we're talking straight razor sharp. But not everything needs to be that sharp. If you don't believe me, get one of your knives, sharpen it like that, and then go out and try to skin a catfish with it. It'll be sliding on it all day long. For stuff like catfish, tomatoes, anything with any kind of a good skin to it like that, you're going to want that little bit of tooth that I've got in this one now, so that it really grabs that skin and cuts into it. So that's my video on sharpening. Cable Guy Ken here. Hope you enjoyed it.